only red and white wine. I thought there was a research that came out and said that there is no quantity or level of alcohol that is healthy. That's all is calm. But it's alright. It's alright. Let's not go there. So today's supposed to be 30 minutes fast burn. To be very honest, I don't have the workout in my head, right? So for a fast burn, it's usually going to be around skips, high knees, jumping jacks, burpees. Okay, that can fly. That can fly. 30 minutes body burn. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you go. Yeah, I've got a 15 minutes cycle. Cycling rather, not cycling. What the fuck it is? So I woke up late. That's why I did not wake up to read the book first. I tripod that I need to buy new phone stands. Yeah, so in this case, I'm wondering why I've not done the book, so the book read and all that. So that book meditations, I don't even know why the fuck I picked that book up. But just feel like the first half of the book is just, I don't know, could have been skipped. Yeah. So this is not a way of saying, oh, there's really no point to such information. I'm just picking up factually. I don't have anything important like that to say yet. I don't have anything important yet. So, but I think what I'm going to do today. So let me see. Yesterday, did I have anything important to say? Okay, yeah, I basically did that client's work, bruv. So every single Indian project or Indian code I have bought, there have always been problems, right? Because I'm a software developer, I always just use the problem myself because it is that if you're going to do that, if you're going to reach out to them to fix that problem, you end up paying some stupid amount of money. I put a code from you, the code should be running out of the box. So not big deal. Got the code. Took me some time. Slept like 12 p.m. Woke up like 4 a.m. because my body doesn't like to go past 4 a.m. And that's why I texted one of my friends said that we should travel for this holiday, but now I already made arrangements to be somewhere tomorrow. I'd love to go, but that arrangement is not possible. Yeah. So, well, I think so it's funny how this documentary is making me more productive than ever before. So now I think looking at that, what that Dan Martell is doing, right? I think apart from a manager that is bringing all of these content together, right? Apart from a social media manager bringing all of this content together, I think I might need a copywriter, right? What would the copywriter's job be? To write the captions, but I think for now, the manager will handle that. To write the captions, get the ideas, right? Look at the pain points, look at the problems, then later maybe like what do they call it? Separate that role to like a copywriter or content writer or something. Yeah, because it's the brand. But the whole idea is you're not creating on my behalf. I do the creating. They do duties like scheduling, handling and stuff. Yeah. It's that even till now, right? Till now, my brand still feels like it is everywhere. I've not still nailed it down. But I think everything, the further you move down the further you move down the path, the more you realize the path to take. So let's get right into it. Let's look at. So this 75 hard, I kind of like, because this is my last day of 75 hard, I kind of like heavily realized the fact that dopamine is a problem right now. And I remember seeing a YouTube title saying that we are amusing ourselves to death. Actually, it hits me hard like mad. So it's okay. The workout is going to be escape, escape, then let me see, high knees 30, high knees 20, jumping jacks 20, burpees 20, and all that happen in 5 sets. So skip 3 minutes, do that, and oh, skip 200. Yeah, skip 200. Yeah, skip 200. High knees, jumping jacks. My mountain climbers. Mountain climbers. So I have to now reduce workout to about maybe 3 sets. Okay. To go well. To go well for a home body workout stuff. Let me just slap on a nice audio because these days I want to cut down music. I'm basically cutting down music these days. Okay, so just as we have, just as we have, just as we have tips for mixtapes by DJs. We also have like philosophical mixtapes that people put together. That shit is dope. No, it is dope. Where you're like hearing philosophical stuff, right? It's like you're hearing different things. I want to work out for 30 minutes. They go for spin with the bicycle. Where like instead of like you're hearing with beats, but it's around with philosophers, spiritual gurus, just dropping bars, talking about how we are spiritual beings having physical experiences. This is an at home. I like it because I think I have, if I'm doing this, I'll have something that I'm available to break down while I'm working out. The other one is breaking, the thread is breaking. I need to get a pipe to safeguard it. Let me just turn up the audio. So there's this news going around that one of our politicians in Nigeria had a stroke, and you had to take him on air ambulance. Okay, so what did I start with? What did I start with? High knees 20. Jumping jacks 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's jumping jacks. 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Hold on. 10. 11. So 13. 14. 5, 4, 3. $20. One thing I was 20. So there are rumors that one of our politicians basically had a stroke, right? When he's known for having excess use of alcohol and stuff. And someone okay, so both of the stroke, and because of how much they have destroyed the healthcare system of the country, basically had to fly him out of the country. So the person who told the story was telling people that you need to realize that these guys, first of all, instead of people to learn from the habits of one, cutting off alcohol and cutting off drugs. No, they don't want to learn. Instead, they rather distract themselves with those vices. And if it is just yesterday was president's no, which some time ago was president's birthday, right? And he was not available for that birthday. So what that means is it's possible that the rumors are true because we have not seen him in a while. So if the rumors are true that we have not seen him in a while, it means that he could be going through a lot. So it's not about guys should just remove like this is a public figure who is close to home who has a stroke, and you guys can and people can realize that there's really no point accessing on these things. There's really no point. So I really hope people can learn from that. And then let's just hope that he gets well soon. But the other shit, if it is true, right, if the rumors are true, one thing is guaranteed that the best medical system even will take him out of the system for at least 2 weeks. And he can't come back 100%. He can come back 90%, but cannot come back 100%. And guess what? Because of the way the African politicians think, there's a way you can oppress people, right? You can oppress people and get your way out of things, but you cannot outperform a bad behavior. You cannot overdo a bad behavior. So it's how I tell people that you should learn to respect your bodies because your body does not care if you're a president. Your body does not care if you are a beggar. All those things, like one of my martial art teachers says that all those things are in your imagination. Your body will do what your body wants to do. So what your body is designed to do. So if you like be a billionaire, if you put rubbish in your body will respond to that rubbish. If you like be a president, if you do something stupid to your body will respond because of how it is designed. Now I'm using the heavier rope to the point that these ropes feel useless. Just came into my head. I'll discuss it about getting American SIM card. So my TikTok content can be visible in the US and in the West because self improvement content is much more appreciated over there than here because I feel like in Africa I'm currently going through a brain rot crisis. So Timo, go 2, 3, 4. Let's add that push up. So we're making it an extra 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shit, man. So yes, I'm talking about how it's obvious that there's a brain rot, right? And one thing I majorly blame the brain rot on maybe two things primarily. Like I can see, one, the diet is carbs focused. You see, the diet unemployment rate, right? Diet, unemployment rate, which is in itself damaging mental health of people. So that's by the way. So I'm thinking of how I can get my content to people, to more people with countries in countries that can afford it, right? Because so I want to kind of look at what are the coaches there saying. Pop out start from where I am, right? That's why I want to research about mental health because I have my thesis on mental health before researching. My thesis is, or my own personal thesis is, the reason people are having mental health issues, look at things like their diet. If you look around their lifestyle choices, right? Their diet, one. Two, how much suffering has that person endured? Because I've noticed that the human race has been moving towards eliminating suffering altogether. If you think about it, if you eliminate physical suffering, guess what? The suffering moves to the mental stage. If you get to eliminate mental suffering, it moves to spiritual. That is, this is where you have identity crisis. Although people get to have identity crisis at the mental stage already. So when we eliminate physical suffering, this is why when people go to the gym and endure that physical pain, they enjoy it. They enjoy it because even though people look at it from a physiological angle, I say no. It's a law of nature that if you want to, if you can only, I always tell people that it's better for you to lean into suffering than for you to lean into pleasure because every pleasure comes at a price ahead. Every suffering, every intentional suffering comes with a reward in the future. So I say, you know what? Choose the level of suffering. That determines the amount of pleasure you get. When you choose pleasure, because people they have no limit to how much pleasure they can aim for. Guess what? Their suffering bounces them back. And there's a video I want to make about suffering. The reason I held back on this video for years is because of my elder brother. His name, his picture, his face keeps popping in my head each time I think about that video. How the fact that he lived a life of intense pleasure and he passed at the age of 30. While we were planning his burial, there was a podcast that I listened to, and the guy says that based on research, the people who live their lives 100% carefree, it sort of feels like they have an expiration date, right? Which is quote unquote 30. And most of them never make it past the age, not 31, not 32, 30. Then I feel like, okay, this is very important for people to hear that you have to suffer more. So also looking at when it comes to monetization, right? Because there's a guy called Kenny Bender. I think I like his approach to it, right? Because his own product is what mental mastery, which in very essence is what I'm talking about too, right? People need because even you can have career success, but if you don't train your mind, if you don't let to if you can't have a level of mastery over your mind, you're fucked up. You're fucked. That is where addictions come from. That is where vices are deeply rooted. This is where childhood trauma that people are profiting from comes from. So, hey, I feel like the world has one reason the world has become a fucked up place and it's becoming a more fucked up place is because we have given so much attention to victims to the point where people find it rewarding to play or in the long run be a victim, right? And starts on parenting. And I read something someday which says that one reason kids are becoming depressed is before I show you before I tell you why, let me give you something. Let me give you a short story that links this thing in my head. There's a dog in my area, right? Yeah? So what happened was I would I'll go to meet him, he'll play with me. Then one day he backed at me. I rubbed his head to tell him to keep quiet. Guess what? He wanted me to pet his head again, so he backed at me again. I rubbed his head. Then the next time I came to see him, he came backing at me and was bringing his head for me to rub. Then I was like, hold on. What the fuck? I was wiring the dog to back first before I rub its head. So now I think I discovered that like it was too late, but obviously it's not my dog, so there's no way I could untrain that behavior, and he may take that behavior to somebody else. I don't know. I don't care. Then for the kids, this is how it works. The parents ask the kids, "How are you doing?" The kids say, "Oh, sure, I'm fine." Think about it, right? When when you say okay, they are fine, guess what? That's all. When you say, "Oh, I don't feel good today. Guess what? The parents or the guardians or the teachers, or yeah, they shower more attention to the child because why? The child is not feeling too good. The child is showing some form of mental or emotional distress. What that means is if the child wants attention from the parents, he has to play the card that he's not feeling too well. And because he's not feeling too well, he may begin to act like he's not feeling too well. And for you know it, his thoughts tell him, okay, if I'm not feeling too well, they'll give me more attention. Guess what? If he feels not too well, they give him more attention. He acts not too well, they give him attention. Before you know it, it becomes a self-fulfilling problem where everybody is just being fucked back to back, the kids. So what is the way forward is we must be very frank. The goal is not to see a victim and ignore a victim. The goal is to see somebody who is a victim, right? And motivate the ones you can motivate to come up because if we keep pandering to victims, the number will keep rising. But if the goal is to motivate them, okay, fine. If you feel like you're oppressed, what happens if we make you stronger? Like I feel like, for example, bullies now, right? Because I always say in my story, I was heavily bullied at the same time. I was heavily bullied at the same time. I was a bully. So I can one thing I can tell you for sure for a fact is that bullying is a way to make people strong, physically or mentally. Because bullying happens first in the mental space before it happens in the physical space. So after knowing that bullying has some benefits to it, it will not be nice for me to say that we should allow bullies to roam around the world. No, right? We should tell the bully that you know what, think about it. You're being bullied right now. But if you can live through this, if you can become stronger, right, after being bullied, at some point, you'll be grateful for that bully because he's the one who made you stronger. Because if you think about it, no child will ever come and say, you know what, on my own, I want to get stronger. No kid is going to do that. So nature put some things in place. But because of we live in a world of morality, social norms, we have sort of, what's that word? We have completely killed that idea in that process of making children weaker. And guess what? I always tell you that when nature sets something in place, if you eliminate it on the physical level, it goes to the mental level. Guess what? Now there's what? Cyberbullying. It's not full mental bullying. Even we just had the dress to school, right? The same thing is like I dress better than you is enough to bully some people right now. Back then, I had physical bullies to take care of because of your dressing. What the fuck is your business with your dressing? So that's why I tell people that I feel like we need to bring back beating kids, right? Because now I was thinking of what other benefits of beating kids can society get? I'm like, that makes that question is very interesting because one benefit of beating kids is this is like the day it reminds me of the day when I first overcame the fear of being flogged. Right? Is I did something stupid, not so stupid but stupid. Then they called me to the front of the assembly, right? And that they were going to flog me. So they called me out. I said, you know what? Fuck it. I became present in the moment. I took that cane. I felt like, is that it? And I took out the entire six, took out the entire 10. If it was supposed to be six, they took it to 10, they took it to 10, took it to 12. But no movement, no flinch. They tried from my palm to my upper arm. I'm like, that bad. So what it means is that that itself gave me some form of mental boost I would not have had if I didn't allow that cane to touch me. One, two is now it makes sense why learning how to fight will put men in a mental space that even the gym can give to them. So I feel that video might be a video that will help. The video and the bio will help attract people because it's going to be super consistent. I shoot almost every single day, right? Mad consistent. Yeah. Right. Then jumping jacks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Five, five, six, seven, eight, four, five, almost 12. Hajime. Why is it Hey. Yeah. Okay, so I just read my dose of meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and bro, the last pages I read were fucking deep, right? You see, I've read this book before, right? And they say that if you have good books, when you reread those books again, you get to realize that there were things in that book that you did not see before, right? And this is why I tell people, hold on, let me just turn on this extra light. Hey, by the way, I heard the government wants to ban solar panels. Quite crazy. When they want to ban solar panels, well, I think I've gotten some solar panels. I think I need to get more to like basically know that I'm most likely fully off the grid. That's by the way. So looking at after reading this part, almost every page I turned into was filled with things that is so deep they will require their own extra thoughts, right? And this is why I think a lot when people read books, when they say they speed read books, I'm like, some books you cannot speed read because the whole point of the book is for you to understand, right? And a book like this is not a book where he just tells you one thing for the entire 300 pages, like most books. Most books, they just pass one message repeated over 200 to 300 pages. But this book, okay, so for example, now I'm reading, right? So I'm at the first of all, I'm at the part where he's speaking about he's being grateful for the people in his life. And he speaks about his adopted father. His adopted father makes me think about my own dad and the fact that a lot of people don't have fathers like mine. He's making me brag about my father, and like I don't and most people don't like brag, so I'm thinking of how much I should be it for my own kids, right? Because he speaks about how his dad was genuinely a good man. You see, there's a problem about good people, right? The problem is that sometimes good people, they're not doing it because of it's in their nature. They are doing it because they want to fit societal standards. That's why they do it. But when somebody is a good man, you would know, right? From the way he treats people who do not matter to him. So people who are quote unquote good, when they see people that they know they cannot benefit from, guess what happens? They begin to shun the people. They begin to feel like the person is less than, cannot help them. So why should they be good to that person? Then from there, he now, when he's done praising his father, then he spoke up because one thing struck my mind. He said his father stopped this whole idea of homosexuality, put an end to it. I tell people that for the past few years, everything that we have done as a humanity is most likely leading us to our extinction, to the decline of population, right? I tell people that, hey, by the way, I have to script becoming him, what is becoming him basically. So I keep telling people that. I keep telling people that you should go and study the idea of Universe 25 and understand that we are at a point of decline. And if you don't get caught in this decline, it's best for you to live your life with intentions, which he also mentions somewhere towards the end of my reading. He says that every trivial act you do should be done with intentions. He even brought up the whole idea that the present moment is all that we have, right? No matter how many years you live, if you live for 1,000 years, if you live for 300 years, the only thing you have is the present moment, right? Because if you look in the past, you have what anxiety. If you look into the future, if you look into the past, it's depression. If you look into the future, it's anxiety. And this is really deep because as I am now, as we speak, the car is still not fixed, right? And I keep asking, where do I get the money from? Plus, I still have to pay bills, I have to pay salaries. And as I'm speaking to you today, I've secured most of the funding for the car, right? Although a good chunk of it came from loan. I'm pretty guaranteed that by the end of this week, right? Allah have paid off all of the bills, right? Which then make me wonder, what am I being worried about? But I digress. Then he goes again and he's thankful for his mother, his brothers, his siblings, his fathers, his people. He's talking about how he's grateful for the fact that he never really indulged in sex. He never got distracted by sex early on. He never gave into extreme pleasures early on, which is a very big thing. It's a very big deal. Because most people just take sex to be this random this activity that is a do or die stuff. But said no, he never took it like that. Then later I went into like deeper parts of the book. So I don't want to go open this book now, because if I open this book, I want to take it point by point, highlights by highlights, and start breaking it down, which is too long. So rather, I want to just take it from my head directly. He speaks about God. When you say God, obviously God and everything, he says that fine. Why are we afraid of death? Right? Why are we afraid of death? And I may be tempted to bring in Alan Watts. Fuck it, let me bring in Alan Watts. Alan Watts said something. He says that we woke up from a sleep, right? When we can't remember when we went to bed. But one day we shall go to a sleep. Okay, we woke up from a sleep, not knowing when we went to sleep. One day we'll go to sleep, not knowing when we would wake up. That is the birth and death. It's a cycle. So what are we really afraid of? And he says that if we think about it, if you say that they are gods, right? If they are gods, why would they make us suffer? But if they are not gods, again, who wants to live a life where they are not gods? What's the point? It says that if there is a God, that God will not intentionally put you through suffering. Now, it doesn't mean that you don't have to work for something, but he's saying that the gods have designed everything for your interest. The gods will never give you something you cannot handle. That's why every time I look about and say, when people say things like, how will I do something? Or when I see people commit suicide, it deepens me, because it gets to me, because I have this idea of how will I handle it. But if you look deep down and you understand this whole idea of nature, you get to realize that God is basically living through you. So if God is living through you, whatever it is you are seeing in front of you, you cannot, he cannot bring something to you that is bigger than you. It is not possible. So imagine, there's a particular content creator who says he was in debt of, I think, $1 billion or something. I don't know how people knew. No, guess what? He lives his life right now. I mean, lives his life is he's creating content, making people happy, he's closing deals. I feel that is what may have even pushed him into creating content. Now, I don't know how he was able to owe that money or the plan to pay back, but the point is, the way he goes about his life is cheerful, because he knows that he will get it done. You see, and that brings into the fact that if you're going through anything in life that you feel like is difficult, or if you have any desire, you should know that that desire is being put into through you, because it knows that you are one person who can achieve that purpose, right? Right. So it's the same way when I tell people that that say they went through childhood trauma. One thing I tell you is that that childhood trauma was built to make you think and act a certain way. But for you to sit down and say or not be grateful for it, because everything that we call suffering, because he said that, right? When you give into, we suffer more when we give into the idea of pain and suffering. So what that means is that you should not see it as something. You shouldn't pain and pleasure. I'm really going, so we should not see it as something to be avoided, something to be intentional about, something to ride. And speaking of pain and pleasure, I read a particular part where he mentioned a philosopher saying that the sins you commit during lust are worse than the sins you commit during the sins you commit during pleasure, aka lust, are worse than the sins you commit during anger. Because during pain, aka anger. Because anger is a kind of like a short burst thing. You have it now, I don't have it after. But for lust, nope. The thing that reoccurs, because it's pain, right? Nobody wants to go through pain. So we do whatever we do in that short burst of pain, anger, and we get back to our normal state, right? But for the reality of things, most people don't. Most people will wallow in that idea of pleasure. This is why earlier, like literally today, I made that statement that it's better to tell people to lean towards the painful part, right? Because the honest truth is that there is reward suffering, intentional suffering. So if one leans towards that intentional suffering, they will reap the rewards of it, right? Because it's better for you to reap the reward to your degree of suffering than to reap the suffering to the degree of pleasure, because pleasure to people have no limits. I'm saying this because of my brother, my elder brother. I've said, you know what? I'm going to mention his story, but not in a way of shaming him, but in a way of understanding that if he had a choice, if he was given 1 extra year, what would he have done different? In his note, he wrote something saying that he was going to give up all those pleasure activities the next year. But guess what? In November, he passed in November. He never made it to the next year. This is what I'm telling people, and I feel like this is where nature wears us, right? Maybe this is the way nature has told me that, you know what, guy, you need to put your message out there. This particular story, because I'm always afraid of saying this story because it makes me feel like I'm profiting off the story. But one person might hear this story and change. And maybe it's just that one person that this story is made for. Maybe I'm supposed to be the brand, a very big brand, and pass this message and be able to rescue up to 1 million men. Because people have this idea that they will stop their vices, they will stop those crazy vices 5 years from now. They will stop those crazy vices 10 years from now. Or maybe when they clock 30, magically the vices will stop. But one thing I've seen is nope, they don't stop. So I tell people to lean to the path of suffering. And a suffering that is intentional, right? Because if you look at everything that we admire, there's nobody that you admire that did not go through a level of suffering. There is not a single soul. So the thing here is not to avoid suffering, but to be intentional about suffering, because the chosen suffering has a reward later. Again, when you lean to the art of pleasure, it's a thing you see yourself want. I think the more I dissect this sense, the better it becomes in my head. See this way: when you lean into the path of pain, what happens? You reap the rewards of pleasure after intentional pain. So what happens is, because of you're leaning into pain, and there's pleasure after. You lean into an amount of pleasure, amount of pain that you can bear, right? And when you can bear it, you would leave it alone and come back to face the pleasure, the rewards of it. But when you lean into the idea of pleasure, because of it is pleasing, you're going to keep leaning further into it, thereby expanding the amount of pain you will experience in the future. So looking at it, I feel like now having this approach in mind, right? I'll see my brother's story, not from a way of insulting him, from a way of respecting him and making him realize that, not him because he's passed already. Obviously, I believe in samsara, birth and rebirth. At some point, he's going to be reborn in another body. Or maybe somebody needs to hear his message, hear his story, resonate with it. And speaking of that, that is why Jordan Peterson says you have to improve your life. Because if he had taken the necessary action, because when he was typing down notes, I can't tell when he was typing down notes, but I believe he was typing in notes at the point of giving birth, at the point of his marriage. He realized that he's about to be a father, a husband. So he told himself he would stop all those vices the year before, the year after. I'm saying this because I'm just thinking how deep his last moments could have been, knowing that he's going to sleep and he's never going to wake up again in that body in this lifetime. It gives me chills in his spine because his daughter is starting life on hard mode. And if he knew that if he does that thing for just a couple of months or a couple of days after, he would be able to see his daughter. That will be able to live a better life, not put his daughter through that pain. This is why Dr. Peterson says you have to improve your life. Because why? You will reduce the amount of suffering and pain in the world, and precisely to your loved ones. This is a real life situation I'm seeing here. So those pleasures, those hedonism you pursue, it affects the people you truly love. Right? Because if you think about the people you love, you will improve your own life. So fuck it. I think I'm going to make that video telling guys to lean into suffering, why they should improve their lives. So self-improvement is not about feeling better than somebody else. It's about reducing the amount of suffering you cause to yourself and you cause to people around you. So that's about it. This morning I saw a text from a friend asking me to join him on a travel. But man, I was like, sorry, I couldn't. Because that request came in very, very late. Well, I feel like that's good without telling anybody. I'm dropping videos almost every day. I feel like right now the growth is slow, or like everything, it starts slow as opposed to everything bursts. So let me just go ahead. I want to quickly, I'll run the application for my clients because I stayed overnight for my clients. After that, I watch a couple of videos that I want to like, just like to get inspiration on the kind of pain that young men are going through, right? Then I'll watch a movie. So I think that's how my day is going to go. So probably I might come back to the camera. Or you know what? I will come back after I watch those videos. I like just you know what from what I studied, this is what I got, and then yeah. So I'm even read this guy's book, Danko's book about purpose and profit. Because I tell people that. Sorry, I digress again. There are three things I tell people, right? When it comes to starting a business, from what I've observed, because everything I'm doing is based on my synthesis, right? There's no such thing as a perfect business. I think there are 4 P's to look after: the profit paradigm, the person, the purpose. Also, it's 3 P's: the person, the personality, the profit paradigm, right, and the purpose. So the person is right. I feel like if I'm to pick a business, if money was in every single business, like if my dream money was in every single business, what business would I go for? For my personality, I think it's life coaching, consulting, courses. Why? Because I feel like I want to get messages out there. I want to improve people's lives. Because I really wished I could improve my brother's life. But hey, I feel like you can only force people. I can be an inspiration to other people. I keep having this dream where I go for events and people just stop me. They ask me questions that will up their game, that will help their life. I'm giving it to them, and they're thankful. I'm seeing people coming back to me. Like the way Gary Vee does his own stuff for content, I'm doing it for people's lives and their everything. That's my personality. The second thing now is what is the purpose, right? Is what's the why behind it? Like, do I have a strong why behind it? Because if the why is strong, the how becomes easier. It's all about the why, and why is because of when you have a strong why, the will to get it done will be there, and then from there, that is how the how comes about. And when you get the how, obviously the what is the last thing. So what is always the last thing. Now the purpose is what's the strong why behind it? Is it a thing that is strong or is it a thing that is shallow? But the honest truth is that you have to start from somewhere, right? And the last part is the profit paradigm, right? Because imagine running a business that you hate for 20 years, that is draining your life just because of money. And the honest truth is that at some point, money habituates. How does it habituate? The moment you have good shelter, right? Good food, maybe max, good cars. At some point, maybe a family. You don't really need that much anymore. The key word is you don't need that much anymore. I'm not saying you shouldn't work for it because I want to be very rich to the point where I am doing things for people. For example, I have a dream where I built a Formula One race course. No, a bike race course for somebody who says that in Africa here, because his dream was to be a champion. So he's a young boy. So you know what? Instead of sending you abroad to become a biker, I want to become a biker right here in Nigeria. I'm going to build that for you. I had the money, and it's not a profit thing. It's a thing of, you know what, God put this money in my possession for me to help people's lives. Because I see money as a tool. Money is a tool, right? To get things done, right? So I've seen myself that if I'm making excess money, the goal of it is take care of myself first, family second. Take care of me and my family first, then give out as much as possible. I feel like I want to see how much I can give out. Like it would be a nice thing because at the end of the day, someone like it's egotistical. So hey, and that's me. I'm not saying you should, but it's a thing I just feel like doing.
Even I even have this idea. I have this idea of buying up expensive real estate, right? So that boys can have playgrounds, right? That boys can have accessible playgrounds, and I'm doing it because I have the money to do it. So fuck you. So that's them. That's by the way. Let me see. So that's the purpose driven, but then the profits are the profits. So, but instead, people start with profit first, then work their way down to personality, and they see that they've acquired such money, but some things that they wanted about them that they really wanted to do, they never did. Sometimes they are out of shape. Sometimes they lack fulfillment, right? So businesses don't allow you to have that much fun. In terms of, so, for example, I'm somebody who wants to learn how to fight. So I've asked myself, if at the last moment of my death, what are the things that I would have really, really cared about? Because most people live life moving forward, but reality is you live life moving, you live life backwards while moving forward. So you live life backwards. You start with the end in mind and move your way back to where you are right now. Now think of the next step for you to take that will lead you to where you are going to. Yeah. So moving forward, living life backwards gives you a direction. Moving life forward gives you momentum. That's came right now in my head. So that's my point. So I figured that learning how to fight was one thing. So that means I should never trade it, and a fit body is something that I should never trade for anything. If one tells me that I have a project, right, and that project will make me sacrifice my dream body, my skills to learn how to fight, right, I don't think I want that project. Maybe if it tells me something me, if it is for life, I don't think I want that for the next 5 years. I don't think I want that project. If it's a couple of months, I can take the deal. Or it's for my life, no, I can't take that kind of deal. So at the point of my death, of my death, I can say yes, I know how to fight. My physique was great. I took care of myself, took care of people around me. That is all that really matters. That's my life. I don't know about yours. I'm not saying I don't want to influence yours, but so well. Now I think I need to go and look for how to make that him video becoming him video. Because the whole idea is if you see my videos and you come to my channel, you see the description there and the leading video, something that should get you to like, oh wow, interesting. What's the next step? So that's it for now. So yeah. A couple of days ago, I was in 180 subscribers on YouTube. Now I'm at 192, all organic. So obviously, I think I'm getting better at this. Yeah, I feel like I may just catch one title that blows everything up. So yep, let me go and watch some videos, do some clients work. Cause today is Sunday though, just in case. And I just make it a goal to shoot a video. No, not shoot a video. Not shoot a video. To watch a movie this Sunday.